Well, what do you know? I'm on time. Yeah. Omer Glitch in the house says, "Hey, gents, we'll be missing you guys today." Oh, uh, I'll be streaming with Levi today at 4, I guess, drawing. I'll catch the show on replay. Okay, absolutely. Sorry to have you. Hope you have guys have a great show. Have a great show, Omer Glitch. Welcome back to your channel, Rex. Thank you. Uh, Shadowhawk says, "Oi, oi, Carrie." Carrie says, "Hey, Shadowhawk. It's good to see Carrie and Shadowhawk here." And Omer chiming in and letting us know he'll watch it on replay. Awesome. Awesome. Uh, just want to share a few things today. Ronin Entertainment Comics will be on with us Thursday. And then 14th, we'll have Godfoe. I was not um, on Apex After Dark. Skip that, slept in, during that time. Sorry, Apex. Uh, where am I at here? Live streaming. There we go. And we'll be, uh, it'll keep the interview even fresher, for Saturday. I We did do a history of comics or something like that, comics after night, something like that. I did do a stream, and you had up extremely early for that. Well, I mean 8 o'clock on Sunday, my time, 7 on Randy Eastern time, and then later in the UK about 10 for Glenn and Russ, anybody in the UK. But we have fun, and sometimes, yes, like Gable said, it can. If the material's there, it's good. Sometimes we yuck it up, and it's very good. We had one where we were just in a joking mood, all of us. It was a fun time. Uh, been watching, continuing watching. There's some, the 4 disc set of Mill Creek, Billy the Kid westerns. I'm Some of those are during the war years because they show at the end, buy war bonds or something like that. But a lot of them were early 50s. If I'm reading the Roman numerals right, uh, Bob Steele did a few of those. Most of them are Buster Crab. I believe they're all with all Al St. John, which that's his real name or his stage name. He goes by Fuzzy, sort of the, Gabby Hayes sidekick that we kind of talked about yesterday on Shadowhawk. Am getting in Western mode because, you know, doing the Midnight character, thinking more about that, Kreger's uh, pages that he's doing for the book, and then also the prequel. I had an idea, and you always leveling up. Should I make it a straight pulp, or have you ever seen a comic book and mostly pulp, but you know, we could absolutely. I thought about doing maybe in a golden age style, you know, some rough golden age style or something. Um, Midnight story, short story. That would kind of look like retro vintage and combine that with the somewhere in the book, of the mostly writing, but with chapter artwork, pulp. I don't know. Tell me what you think. Is that a good idea? Combining comics and a pulp together? Because I know people like sequential artwork. I get it. I do. Comics and not pulp magazines made me a reader. Pulp is primarily text with a few illustrations. Um, I'm looking to, you know, show my writing chops. I think there'll be no doubt about it after my ability to write good stories in different genres after the magazine comes out. But um, that's a little longer than lengthier stories like will be written for the drawn interior characters and for Midnight and the Roustabouts. So, tell me what you think about that. Should you combine comics and pulp? I think might be a first. I'm always looking to do things differently, to change the format of things and to do things differently. That way you might intrigue people to, you know, well, this is kind of a comic, partial comic, and then, you know, for those that want stories, we'll definitely get some stories. And I'm wondering, should I go kind of like Wraith of God supernatural bent with a story, or keep it straight Western, or, we'll examine that. I'm looking at it, um, I'm all for keeping it straight Western, for some of the stories, but some of it might be, you know, um, she encounters, the 43 are sent through time. So could you have a time traveler go from the 1940s back to the 1800s? And not only that, but appear in the continents. I don't know why you couldn't, because it's your imagination, right? So, Midnight might have to defeat one of the 43 that shows up that actually has superpowers and has, and that right there could be the comic story. The pulp part of it might be straight Western, and the comic story could have the little time traveling element in there where she has to defeat some kind of superpowered person. And how do you do that? Will Of course, if it's Superman, and he bullets bounce off of him, you're in trouble. But you might lure him into a quicksand pit, a dark. It depends on his powers, right? I thought, you know, of making Twisted Man, which he was created before the 43. The 43 were, it was if you don't know, it's a German experiment where 43 Germans are elicited to participate in a secret um, Nazi experiment, sort of a super soldier program. And the reason I did that was they all have the same origins, 43 characters, 43 villains. Um, it's like I have villains that I've created through the years, but I've got to say most of my, I create when it comes to me. And I've created a lot of villains. Like I remember, back in September of last year, I created him. This is the only time I drew this character. Can I tell you anything about him? He looks like a bad guy, and he was probably meant to be a bad guy, but he's a blank slate. Um, a lot of times I create and move on with characters. Some I like Bog. It's like, he always intrigued me as a character from the first time I drew him. Um, right here, as a matter of fact, February 15th. Uh, you know, just characters, different heads. That's often how I do it. Um, if you can get the facial part down. So call me crazy, and you often do. Um, I'm tackling a lot of writing in the future, but I think it'll be interesting. I think I can do it justice, and make it interesting. Um, there seems to be a lot of Western stuff cropping up. It's just my love for the character of Midnight, and expanding and thinking about the character. And I think I got my camera slightly out of focus, which sucks. It probably stays that way, right, from your vantage point. But yeah, I've been writing down different bits of dialogue, different things, different visual elements that I'd like featured in stories and stuff. The great thing is I can let my imagination run away, and I do. I did enjoy writing the longer format story of Devil Flyer, which was wound up 29 pages, sequentialed out. But now, when I started adding to it and doing short stories, that's when I really was enjoying it, and I know a lot of writers can't write a 2-page story, but I had no problem writing 2, 5, 10, whatever. I enjoy the shorter format stories. Um, and pulps often had, I'll look at some of these pulps that I've got in. Some of them are, and look at the different formats. And can't wait till you see the Silver Boa, because the Silver Boa is going to incorporate a lot of these great painted covers in the background of the 2-page Silver Boa, retro Silver Boa here, and modern day Silver Boa there. You know, 2-page spread with the pulps behind it and in a cityscape. It's going to look cool. That John Diller drawing it. So, once I get this all together, it's going to be like, wow, good stuff. Yeah. I'm going to nail it down to where it really has a complete feel to it. You know, um, a very satisfying read, something that be treasured in the future, um, something that might inspire somebody. I'm here to really lay a good foundation for a lot of characters. Um, basically, it'll be like a 2-page spread done by Rob Ewing, because he's already got like a dozen characters already done. Midnight, did he do Midnight? I'd have to look over here on X. It's been a while since I looked at. Let me just look that up to see. I know he's done that. 6 Women. Last time I looked, he was working on kind of like a Legion of Superheroes or an Avengers, a big Marvel poster or DC poster with all the characters featured. Um, I'll be utilizing Rob a lot next year. A lot. Yeah, he's done 6 Women, 6 Men, and yeah, one of the women is Midnight, which I'm glad, because I get to see his take on Midnight, and he did stick pretty close to what I told him model wise. I think the picture he sent me was it comped in with a bunch. I don't think he's. I guess I need to contact him and say, hey, could you send me a larger visual of the Midnight character? Like what he kind of did with her boots there, but it's kind of hard to see. Um, he did Lady of the Night. He did Lady Hopper, which I love little jumpy like characters like Hopper and Lady Hopper. Um, in fact, he was the first person to draw Lady Hopper. I had him draw a couple of pictures of Hopper, and I said, do a female version, and he knocked it out of the park. And Shadow's Kiss he's done, and Sweet Baby. So and if I didn't say Lady of the Night. But now he's done modern day Silver Boa, Devil Flyer, Bystander, Cortex, which is great that he's done some of these. They're going to be featured, in the prequel. I don't think he's done a Bog. We're going to have to get him to do a Bog. He did a couple of Hoppers, and he did modern day Mummy. Another iteration of modern day Mummy, looking more like Living Mummy than say George Peter Gaddis's Mummy. But yeah, we got a good start on the Momentum universe, just laying it down all in one visual. Where am I at? Okay, there we go. Chat not hopping today, deader than a door now, but that's okay. I know you're out there, and I see the counter. You hacking, huh? We just got back from the bank. I gave her a shower earlier today. Got rid of those few fleas that she had on there, and now that the frost is coming in, they're not as bad. And I think I've been told that hacking is a reaction, an allergic reaction to the fleas. So we're getting that under control. If I have to bathe her every night, I will. She's gotten a lot better at it. But it's been been writing down several things. I don't have much in front of me because, I just have some lined paper like this so that it's not such a big thing and floppy to write on. And just been writing, out longhand. And um, I get, a whole sheet full. I'll peel it away, turn it over to the next side, and write it on the back. And then, discard that one and just whittle this down till I have to add some more pages. Um, but uh, one actor that was in a lot of those westerns that I've been watching, and they're like producers PCR. It stands for producers something. I don't know. I don't know if it was done for film. It looks like film, but it could have been done for early television. Um, maybe this Wikipedia that I looked up, one actor that was in a lot of them that played the bad guy all the time against Buster Crabbe or Bob Steele was Glenn Strange. Glenn Strange, uh, George Glenn Strange is his name, was an American actor who appeared in hundreds of Western films. He played Sam Noonan, the bartender on CBS's Gunsmoke television series. Now, his came in fairly early to the series, but a few seasons in to the series, because Miss Kitty had other bartenders. Of course, he played Frankenstein um, in the movies after Boris Karloff did his 3 movie term. Interesting enough, he was born the year that my fictitious devil flyer was 1899 in Weed, 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 New Mexico. Wow. August 6th, 1899. And he died September 20th, 1973, which I'm not sure when Gunsmoke shut down. Let's see. I think it ran a few years after that. He died from lung cancer. Of course, he was a smoker in the movies, whatever. Over 200 episodes of Gunsmoke. Glenn Strange stepped away from Gunsmoke in 1972. Glenn Strange's departure from before becoming a beloved Western TV bartender, Glenn Strange was best known for his portrayal of Frankenstein's monster in classic Hollywood movies. And the early 60s, Aurora, I think it came out in 1961, Frankenstein Aurora model kit is based on Glenn Strange and not Boris Karloff's Frankenstein. Veteran character actor Glenn Strange made a big mark on the popular Western series Gunsmoke, and his sudden departure, like I said, left a big hole. Unprecedented, starting its unprecedented TV run in 1955, Gunsmoke follows Marshal Matt Dillon, which was played by James Arness, as he tries to maintain law and order in the Wild West town of Dodge City, Kansas, pushing the boundaries of what was possible on TV at the time. Gunsmoke capitalized on the popularity of the Westerns while adding prestige to growing TV medium. The series ran for 20 seasons and featured an ensemble cast featuring many future stars. Glenn Strange joined the long running TV show a few years in and would take over the bartender character Sam Noonan until 1973. I think, occasionally there would be another bartender when Glenn was off filming something else, but pretty consistent after he got on that show. Did a lot of westerns prior to that, though. A lot of western bad guys before he kind of became a good guy for Miss Kitty behind the bar. Though he was only a supporting role, Strange's unique performance was often the highlight of Gunsmoke episodes in which he featured, and he found his way into the hearts of millions of viewers. He exchanged witty banter with Katie, which was played by Amanda Blake, and Marshall Dillon, though the show went on for a little while after he left. Gunsmoke was never quite the same without Glenn Strange. Definitely. Here's a picture where, oh shoot, what's his name? Dean. After 200 episodes of the show, Glenn Strange stepped away. Wow, that's a sizable thing. Sizable character actor, was most remembered for his villainous roles. He was kind of typecast as a performer. Strange's diagnosis didn't deter him from acting as much as he could have, even after he died. In 73, fans were treated to 5 additional episodes with the lovable bartender and had been filmed before he retired. Ultimately, Gunsmoke season 19, episode 11, The Hanging of Newly O'Brien, was Strange's last appearance more than a year after his passing. Wow. Strange played the Frankenstein monster in 3 movies. Boris Karloff, of course, originated the role. Lon Chaney Jr. assumed the role for one film before it was passed on to Bela Lugosi, who had originally turned down the role. Glenn Strange was then tapped to play the monster in 1944's House of Frankenstein, and he would return to the role 2 more times. Throughout 1945's House of Dracula and 1948's Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, Strange would leave his unique mark on the role, including his signature mole and low eyebrows. Yeah, signature mole. Iconically, though, Strange was perhaps the least famous of actors to play the part in the original Universal Monster cycle. It was his likeness that appeared on most Universal merchandising for decades. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, he was like 6 foot, at least 6'5". He was huge. Making him, a no brainer for the role. Yeah, he was born in Weed, New Mexico territory. So, was it not a state of Irish and Cherokee ancestry? Maybe New Mexico wasn't. I wonder when New Mexico became a state. I have no idea. Says territory, but that's Wikipedia for you. He spoke Cherokee. I didn't know that until he was about 13 years old. But in 1972, he stated, "Since that time, I've had nobody to speak it with, so I've lost it." He grew up on a ranch and left school after 8th grade for his father, though he had enough education to work with cattle. When he was 12, he began playing the fiddle at local dances. In 1928, he began performing music on an El Paso radio station. Another early job was heavyweight boxing, which caused him some cauliflower damage to his right ear. Strange competed in the Hoot Gibson radio, but was injured when a horse fell on him. Oh, snap. After the injury, Gibson looked after him, and Strange began playing outlaws in Gibson's Western films. For much of Strange's acting career, most of his roles were playing bad guys. He had roles in 300 films and 500 television episodes. In 1932, he had a minor role as part of the Wreckers crew in a 12-part series, The Hurricane Express, starring John Wayne. I have that. I've seen him in the Wreckers crew. I have that on disc. Early John Wayne movie. He played numerous small parts in Paramount's popular Hopalong Cassidy film series. I really have not seen more than a handful of episodes of Hopalong Cassidy. They're kind of naive and very simple tales, by today's standards. A lot of Roy Rogers stuff too, but a whole generation grew up on that stuff and loved it. He played numerous small parts in Paramount. Let's see, I read that. Usually cast as a member of Outlaws Gang, occasionally as a local sheriff. In 1943, he played a bad man in Hopalong Cassidy movie False Colors. He plays the killer Naylor Rand in the 1948 film Red River. I have that. Red River, I believe, stars Randolph Scott, I think. Don't hold me to that. Beginning in 1949, he portrayed Butch Cavendish, the villain responsible for killing all but one of the Texas Rangers in the long-running television series The Lone Ranger. Strange appeared twice as Jim Wade on Bill Williams' syndicated Western series geared to juvenile audiences, The Adventures of Kit Carson. He also appeared twice as Blake in the syndicated Western Kit Carson, or I'm sorry, the Cisco Kid. In 1952, he was cast in the role of Chief Black Cloud in the episode Indian War Party of the syndicated Range Rider. If he was in the Cisco Kid, that was early TV. I mean, early color TV in the early 50s, early color, which, they would, I'm told, would send those to the movie theaters to be seen in the movie theaters as well as later on TV. He was cast in the role of, let's see, in 1954, Strange played Sheriff Billy Rowland in Jim Davis's syndicated Western series, Stories of the Century. I've got some of that on disc. Strange appears 6 times in 1956 in multiple roles on Edgar Buckingham's syndicated Judge Roy Bean. That same year, Strange appeared in an uncredited role as the sheriff in Silver Rapids in the Western movie The Fastest Gun Alive. That was, starring Glenn Ford. The only reason I know that is they did a Dell comic book that I have with Glenn Ford on the cover. So apparently, uncredited role by Glenn Strange in there playing the sheriff. That's on my short list to watch of Westerns because I don't think I've ever seen that. Glenn Ford's done a bunch of them. I watched one recently with him in it that I have with Jack Lemmon. Kind of a comedy Western, but it's a serious Western. In 1958, he had a minor part in the episode of John Payne's The Restless Gun and had an important role in 1958 episode Chain Gang of the Western series 26 Men. True stories about the Arizona Rangers. That same year, he played Rancher Pat Cafferty, who faces the threat of anthrax in the episode Queen of the Cimarron of the syndicated Western series Frontier Doctor. That Frontier Doctor was with Rex Allen. A lot of people asked my mother after she named me Rex Allen if that was based on that actor. And she said, no, I just like the name. And Allen is spelled wrong. He spells it Allen, and I spell it Alan. But I watched some Frontier Doctor a week or so ago, a couple of weeks ago. Strange appeared in 6 episodes of The Rifleman, playing the same role in different variations. Cole, the stagecoach driver in Duel of Honor, a stagecoach shotgun guard in The Dead-Eyed Kid. Joey, a stagecoach driver in The Woman, and I quote The Woman, and an unnamed stagecoach driver in The Blowout. the Spiked Rifle, and Mrs. Birdie. Strange had parts in ABC Western The Life and Legend of Wyatt Earp, plus Annie Oakley, Buffalo Bill Jr., Wagon Train, and other Western television series. He played an Indian chief in Rawhide, Series 2, Episode 8, Incident of the Haunted Hills, which aired November 5th, 1959. Gunsmoke, he first appeared on Gunsmoke 1960. So 1955 was the first year. So it had already been running 5 years before he came onto the road. After James Arness asked him, when you going to do a Gunsmoke? I like to work with big guys. During Gunsmoke's 6th season, Strange played a Long Branch customer in Old Faces and a cowboy in Melinda Miles. So he didn't start off into the bartender role. Strange began playing Sam Noonan during the 7th season, and so 1961 season, and continued in the role for 222 episodes. In 1972, Strange was diagnosed with lung cancer, but worked as long as he was able. 5 of his episodes were broadcast after his death. His last appearance was on November 26, 1973, episode The Hanging of Newly O'Brien, as I said before. 1944, while Strange was being made up for an action film at Universal, makeup artist Jack Pierce noticed that Strange's facial features and 6'4", he was 6'4", okay, height would be appropriate for the role of Frankenstein's monster. Strange was cast in 1944 film House of Frankenstein in role first played by Boris Karloff, as I said. Karloff later said that he was dissatisfied with Strange's performances as the monster, commenting, well, he wasn't as lucky as I was. I got the cream of it, being the first. I know I wish him lots of luck, hoping it would do as much for him as it did for me. But previously to House of Frankenstein's, Strange starred as Petro, who is turned into a wolf monster by George Zerko in the Mad Monster 1943. Another role in a horror film was in 1944's The Monster Maker. He also appeared as the giant in the mystery film The Black Raven 1943. Strange reprised the role of Frankenstein's monster in House of Dracula 45. Strange played the monster in third time in Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein 48, which was wildly popular, I might add. All those were. As in his first 2 Frankenstein films, he shared the spotlight with Lon Chaney Jr. as the Wolfman, but this time John Carradine was replaced by Bela Lugosi in his second screen appearance as Count Dracula. Strange also appeared in character with Lou Costello in a haunted house skit on the Colgate Comedy Hour, and made a gag publicity appearance as a masked flagpole sitter as a local Los Angeles TV show in the 1950s. After weeks of the station teasing the public about the sister's identity, Strange removed his mask and revealed himself as Frankenstein's monster. Actually, yet another mask. Strange also played a monster in the Bowery Boys horror comedy Masterminds in 1949, mimicking the brain transplanted Hall's frantic comedy movements, with Hall providing his own dubbed voice. During the wave of monster-related merchandising in the late 50s and 60s, Glenn Strange's iconic image often was used for the monsters on toys, games, and paraphernalia. Most often from his appearance in Abbott and Costello in that film in 1969. The New York Times mistakenly published Boris Karloff's obituary with Glenn Strange's picture as the Frankenstein monster. Whoops. He died in Los Angeles, California. Singer Eddie Dean, whom Strange had collaborated with various songs and opening themes for films, sang at Strange's funeral service as a final tribute. Strange is interred in Forest Lawn, Hollywood Hills Cemetery. His film credits: Shotgun Pass, 1931. He played Pee Wee. It was uncredited. 1931 as well. Cavalier of the West. He played a trooper. That was uncredited. Also 1931, The Gay Buckaroo. Wow. Got to watch that one, The Gay Buckaroo. He played a barfly, uncredited. 1932, he was a gang leader. That was uncredited in Single Hand Sanders. 1932, The Texas Tornado. He played a wrestler, uncredited. Riders of the Desert, 1932. Singing Ranger, uncredited. I wonder if that was dubbed. Hopefully it wasn't his own voice. But you never know. He might have had a singing voice. Cowboy Counselor in 1932. That's an awful name for a movie, really. Cowboy Counselor. My blisters have blisters. So he played a stage driver that was uncredited. Mark R. Largent says Glenn Strange put on a Frankenstein mask to be in the Spirit fan film Donald F. Glut made in the 60s. Huh. Okay. Where is everybody? Are we dead? And is this the afterlife? Gable Pennyshot says. Why isn't Shadowhawk on panel? He can't be on panel till tomorrow. We'll go through StreamYard tomorrow. We're not going through StreamYard today. Gave him the day off. That's why I carry. Frankenstein's Monster. Thanks for dropping that link versus the Spirit. I'll check that out after the show. Five Bad Men, 1935. Radio Buckaroo. Uncredited. It says Cyclone of the Saddle, 1935. Singer, fiddler, townsman, uncredited. A lot of uncredited stuff in his early work. His Fighting Blood, but a lot of work nonetheless. 1935, Singing Constable, uncredited. 1935 as well, Suicide Squad. Wow, that title goes way back, Suicide Squad. He played a singing fireman in that, uncredited. Flash Gordon. Wow, I had to check that out. That was with, of course, he did a lot of Westerns with Buster Crabbe. So they must have first acted together in 1936 serial of Flash Gordon. He played a robot in Ming Soldier. And also a character called Gocko, 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 uncredited. But he played a robot in multiple roles in that character in Ming Soldier. Trailing West, 1936, Tim Henchman, and played a trooper, uncredited. So he was actually named Tim, and a henchman and a trooper, 3 in that one, Trailing West, 1936. That's wild to watch a movie where the same actor, who's very recognizable, plays multiple roles. And in those movies I've been watching, put out by PCR, that with Buster Crabbe, has the same ensemble of actors in many, many of the movies. Same bad men, play different roles. Sometimes they play the sheriff. It's interesting to see the troupe work together so much. A Tenderfoot Goes West, 1936. He played a cowhand called Butch. Songs of the Gringo, 1936. Henchman Blackie, uncredited. Guns of the Pecos, 1937. Wedding Groom. He played a rustler as well. Maybe, I wonder, I guess that's maybe different characters. Either that or the Wedding Groom went bad, uncredited as the rustler, and Wedding Groom, I guess. Arizona Days, 1937, Henchman Pete. Trouble in Texas, 1937, Milton Sheriff. The Cherokee Strip, 1937, Harry Fiddle He played a character called Harry, fiddle player and band leader, all uncredited, except for Harry, I guess. The Fighting Texan, 1937, band changing henchman, uh, uncredited. Blazing 60s, 1937, Pee Wee Jones. Mountain Music, 1937, singing Hillbilly, uncredited. And Empty Holsters, 1937, Tex Roberts. Riders of the Dawn, 1937, posse member, uncredited. Uh, he was busy in 37. The Devil's Saddle Legion, 1937. He played Pee Wee. So this must be an ongoing thing. I see Pee Wee Jones. Must be an ongoing series um, that they did. God's Country and the Man, 1937. Played Sheriff Joe, uncredited. Stars Over Arizona in 1937. Played Bruce Coe, uncredited. And Danger Valley, 1937. Marshall Dale, uncredited. So he's got a lot of credits. I mean, uh, what did it say? 200 films and 500 TV appearances. Wow. LL and P Shadow. Let's see. The spirit is Will Eisner's spirit. Yeah. Um, yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. In 1938, he played the Last Stand, henchman Joe, a character called Joe. He was a henchman. Uh, Whirlwind Horseman, 1938. I'll just breeze through these. He played a character called Bull and a henchman. Six Shooting Sheriff, 1938. Black Bandit, 1938. Guilty Trails, 1938. Prairie Justice, 1938. Gunpacker, 1938. You see a trend here. They're all Westerns. The Phantom Stage, 1939. The Night Riders, 1939. He played an angry riverboat gambler, uncredited. Blue Montana Skies, 1939. Across the Plains, 1939. Oklahoma Terror, 1939. Overland Mail, 1939. He got to play a sheriff called Dawson then. Also a sheriff in 1940 on um, Pioneer Days. Rhythm of the Rio Grande, 1940. Plays Sheriff Hayes. So he did play a few good guys. Covered Wagon Trails, 1940. Pals of the Silver Sage, 1940. The Cowboy from Sundown, 1940. Land of the Six Guns, 1940. Three Men from Texas, 1940. The San Francisco Docks, 1940. So, Glenn Strange, you might know him as Frankenstein. You might know him from Gunsmoke. But look at all the work he did. He might not be a big star as far as name notoriety, but he got work, a lot of work. I could go on and on and on. It's amazing. Western Cyclone, I just happened to see that 1943, Dirk Randall. See, that's one I watched. That I can't remember if Bob Steele was in that one or Buster Crabbe. He did House of Frankenstein in 44, House of Dracula in 1945, and Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein in 1948. This goes all the way up to 1951, but it could go on and on and on with him. Valley of Vengeance, played Marshall Baker, 1944. A Monster Maker in 44, like I said. Mad Monster in 43. So he started in the 40s getting some monster work out of the westerns. But some of these titles, if I kept going on, would be some of the stuff I've been watching of late. Glenn Strange. Yeah, I've been actually marking down the actors and actresses that have been, and Glenn Strange apparently is one of them that was born in 1899 because that was the sort of arbitrary choice. I gave it some thoughts. I wanted for my Devil Flyer character who was supposed to be born in 1899. So he would have grew up watching Glenn Strange, in the movies. And, if he watched movies fictitiously, I found one other or two, actress and actresses born in 1899. Um, Peter Orchard Studios, hail to you. What's going on, everyone? Just talking a little bit about Glenn Strange. Been watching Glenn Strange in a lot of movies lately, a lot of Western series with Buster Crabbe and Bob Steele. Um, Whole host of stuff. I suspect that were done for the theater and then probably later released in syndication uh, uh, on TV. Uh, Again, Ronan, he said, if you're looking for some people to promote their projects, you might consider Ronan Comics. So I reached out, and they will be on with us Thursday, the 12th. 13th is going to be my party. Um, Wednesday, going to get a haircut. So I look spiffy for the party. And it's about time. And of course, we'll have Godfo on Saturday. Other than that, haven't really scheduled, that much. Um, it is Margaret Hamilton's birthday. Um, she actually got to meet, she was the Wizard of Oz witch, Wicked Witch of the West. Got to meet Kiss back in 1977. Glenn, yesterday was her birthday, I believe. Gene Simmons, who I think I follow. Do I follow him over on Twitter? No, I do not actually, but I guess I could. Um, but I won't. Actually, along with him and his uh, flesh. Let me see. Just seeing what I on Twitter. RT Bear, just finishing up fulfilling Oodles and Doodles, which was kind of like his sketchbook, I believe. So he's sending out the last of that to people. For Christmas season, you might watch The Twilight Zone, The Night of the Meek, that first came on CBS in 1960 with Art Carney playing a sort of down and out Santa Claus. That's a great early episode of The Twilight Zone, especially around Christmas time. On yesterday's date, not today, but December 8th, 1984, the series finale of the children's TV show Captain Kangaroo aired. The series began in 1955 and ran for a staggering 29 seasons and aired a total of 6,090 episodes. Yeah, from the 50s to 1984 till I was a senior in high school. So 40 years ago, the final episode of Captain Kangaroo aired. Not many people missed it at that point, I don't think. Total John Carradine holds 351 film and television credits, making him one of the most prolific English-speaking screen actors of all time. Yeah, I always hated him for burning down the old hermit's cabin in The Bride of Frankenstein. The Assyrians, not Vlad Dracula, the Ottomans were the first to utilize the gruesome practice of impaling against their foes. Although impalement is commonly associated with Vlad the Impaler and the Ottomans, its origins trace back to the Assyrians, who employed this brutal method as a harsh form of punishment and a tactic of psychological intimidation. During their peak, uh, from 19th to 7th centuries BC, Assyrians ruled rulers likely utilized impalement to instill dread in their enemies. I would think so, and quell uprising. Often displayed the impaled bodies publicly as a grim warning. While Vlad Dracula later became notorious for this practice, it had him already. It had already been carried out by various ancient civilizations, including the Babylonians and Persians, well before his time. Yeah, I would think that that's fairly intimidating to be impaled on a stake, especially the way Vlad did it. He became proficient. People would often last um, on the stake for 3 or 4 days. Judi uh, Dench, she played James Bond Q. She turns 90 today. In the most recent Bond movie, she played Q, long-term actress. Yesterday rather, was her 90th birthday. Still going strong at 90. Nexus Scourge number 2. On sale January 15th. Tell your comic to pre-order. And Nexus is back in an all-new universe-shattering tale that is essential for all Nexus fans, it says. Nexus has its own X. I don't know who contributes to Nexus, if it's Mike Baron's site or what, but they have their own site up on X. Peter Samedi says King Cryptid, this series was not what I expected, but in the best way possible. I got an email last night from a new King Cryptid reader who just got done reading issues 1 through 4 and then went on to buy and finished reading the digital versions of 5 through 9. Great way to start the week. Yeah. Imagine King Cryptid. I've not read one issue of that, but I imagine that it's pretty solid. Deke, the animated, I've got some Deke. They did Sonic the Hedgehog, is one of the things that they did. In 1996, we premiered Sonic series finale with a holiday special, Sonic Christmas Blast, because it was a special. We animated a custom opening to fit the Christmas theme. That same year, the Sonic 3D Blast game was released in time for the holidays. Brian A. Miller posted that. Never watched a lot of Sonic from Deke. I think that was probably most of that. But I do have some of the Deke on disc, some of their projects. So I hope everyone's having a good Monday. You've probably seen, and Peter Gilmore put this up, but I've seen other people put this up about Edgar Wright in talks to direct Sydney Sweeney's Barbarella movie. I'm not excited about it. Hanoi Jane, she can get out of here. There's no need to redo Barbarella. Now, if it was done as a straight sci-fi without the camp, and I do like the Barbarella movie, I just don't like the act. I think she's traitor to this country back in Vietnam, always shutting it. And that's Peter Gilmore says, I really can't see this getting done as it should be in current year. Even the slightest hint of modern social political shenanigans would make it pointless as a Barbarella movie. But he does like the actress Sydney Sweeney. I don't know that I've seen her in anything nothing I can name anyway. So I'm not looking forward to a Barbarella movie whatsoever. Mark Poten says, here are the two legendary hero trading cards for backing USA Assassin 4 and Relentless Tin Soldier. These cards are in a subset of new USA Assassin set. So I haven't been keeping up with that. Kind of like a G.I. Joe adventure type stuff. Cool 70s G.I. Joes. That's kind of where it ended. Happy birthday to Michael Dorn today, who played Worf on Star Trek Next Generation. It's Michael Dorn's birthday today. Shutting down the Indiegogo and Fund My Comics stores tonight. That was last night, I guess. Mark Poten says, for the USA Assassin 4, last chance to get the books, ash cans, hardcovers, trading cards, etc. Let me go over to Indiegogo and see if that is indeed shut down. Real quick. Make sure to get that Nexus #1 Peter Orchard cover. Oh, really? Okay. Shadowhawk, I'm not familiar with her. Also, the original movie was kind of dumb. Yeah. Sydney Sweeney is a busty blonde actress who seems to have a based attitude, a throwback of sorts to 60s sex bots. Yeah. Paul Monsky says. Check out Paul's. We've not said enough. Check out Paul's book. Paul, if you want to get with us sometime this week and come on, that would be great. We'd love to talk to you and promote your tantalizing jungle tales of adventures. We'd love to, blasphemy, the Orgasmo machine is cinematic glory. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that, where you get shot by the ray. Over on Indiegogo, it says USA Assassin 4 is guest starring Rodney Piper in that. Rodney Piper joins the USA, a team in there. $7,488, 113 backers. Even though Mark Poten might have shut it down, it's still going and in demand. So you can possibly get it over on Indiegogo. I will check it here in a second. I will drop that link in the chat if you want to get it before it closes down on Indiegogo. And I will check out the Fund My Comic because he had both links here and see if that's shut down yet. That one's probably shut down, but it may not be. 18 hours ago. So whereas on Fund My Comic, it did close down. Over on Indiegogo, it's still up, although it's probably hit close. Sometimes you can get squeak in, takes a little longer sometimes to shut down over on Indiegogo. He wound up with 97 backers over there, so $7,573. So combined, probably over 15,000 for the book. So that's good. So closed up on Fund My Comic, but you still have a shot of it for it over there on Indiegogo, but not much of one. I did not know. I did not know that you were associated with Nexus, Peter. That's interesting. Rex, love to come on sometime this week. I've got a couple of projects in the work with you might like a peek at. Absolutely. Yeah, let's set that up, Paul. I think I follow you on Instagram, but usually I do X, but either way you want to contact me, let's set up a day. I do have somebody coming on Thursday and Saturday. Other than that, calendars are open. If a weekend like a Sunday works better for you, we can do that. Also prefer petite blondes to blonde bomb stills. Yeah. Check out Star Trek The Complete. I'm only $140 away from my goal. And Mark, we need to get you on, and maybe Sunday would work out good for you because I know the weekends are a little bit better for you. We'd like to hear. I can't do it today because I'm not going to have any guest on today, but like to bring you on and hear how the showing of Star Trek happened. We talked about that the other day. Wondered how that went for you. I'm sure it went fairly well for you. Hoping it does. Readful Things dropped this. Merry Christmas, you invisible heat vision loving son of a gun. Every time the bell rings, a predator claims a trophy. George Bailey versus Predator, cloaked, armed, and festive. With a George Bailey, figure. They make custom figures and a Predator figure, which looks like a couple Predator figures I have, which are, they do the card artwork and then put the, George Bailey versus the Predator. That's going to be a short one. Only 3 weeks left to bring in Mike Baron's inaugural Sherlock Holmes graphic novel to life. I guarantee it's one of the most thrilling comics you'll ever read, says Mike. We're currently at 90% funded. So that's cool. You can go to MikeBaron.com for the total. And I'm going to do that right now just to see, because that's on Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and Fund My Comic. They're asking for $24,000, and they're up to $22,539 total raised off Indiegogo, Fund My Comic, and Kickstarter. The Indiegogo Leviathan project is, just wait till that comes up, $3,975, 75 backers over there. They're asking $8,000 there, but it's a flexible goal. So they're 49% over on Indiegogo. So almost $4,000 on Indiegogo. Fund My Comic. Let's check out and see what they're doing on Fund My Comic. Wow, 186 backers over there. So quite a difference. So I hope a lot of people are going over to comic. $10,188. 47 days to go over there. They funded at $8,000, so they're past that over on Fund My Comic. Good to see. And let's check with their Kickstarter and see what they did. 24 days to go over there. Looks like they had an $8,000 goal and they have $8,589. So they're just funded over there. 220 backers over Fund My Comic. So Indiegogo seems to be left in the dust compared to the Kickstarter and Fund My Comic. Fund My Comic actually is outperforming Kickstarter and Indiegogo. So, wow. On Sherlock Holmes Leviathan, done by Mark Barrett with art by Richard Bonk, which features Sherlock Holmes and Watson, I'm sure, and Captain Nemo in the story. And he's been making his rounds, so that's very cool that it's doing as well as it's doing. Check with the chat here. Thought for sure somebody would say that. Go Fund My Comic or something. That's interesting, though, to see campaigns launch simultaneously on 3 different platforms and see which ones are performing better. In this case, Fund My Comic is performing better. Very cool. Kind of surprised to a certain degree. Hopefully that will be the norm. On December 8th, 1952, on I Love Lucy, was the one episode where Ricky Ricardo learns that she's expecting a child. CBS censors would not allow the word pregnant to be spoken by any of the actors during the episode. How times have changed. Eagles released their 5th studio album, Hotel California, 48 years ago in 1976. Silver Streak, that might be a comedy that you haven't heard about, with starring Gene Wilder, Jill Clay, what is her name? Clayburgh, and Richard Pryor, premiered in theaters 48 years ago in 1976. Ang Lee's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, I found that a good movie to watch. Opened in theaters 24 years ago in the year 2000. A Star is Born, starring Barbra Streisand and Chris Christopherson. Is there any movie that has been remade or riffed on, sort of pseudo remade, than A Star is Born? I say nay, probably not. Star is Born keeps being made in just about every decade. 1948, not 1948, 48 years ago. Wow, in 1976, their rendition of A Star is Born. Also on December 8th, 1980, 40 years ago, John Lennon was shot and killed outside of his apartment building in 1940 in New York City. Wow, 40 years ago yesterday. The Mamas and the Papas released California Dreamin' 59 years ago in 1965. So I predate California Dreamin'. Wow. Not by much, but a little bit. The Verdict, starring Paul Newman, sort of a courtroom drama, as I remember, was in theaters 42 years ago in 1982. The Deer Hunter premiered. That was a big movie at the Academy Awards, I remember. Premiered 46 years ago, 1978. 48 Hours, starring Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte, premiered 42 years ago in 1982. Rankin and Bass's special, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, first aired 50 years ago in 1979. 74. I believe, wasn't that one narrator Joe Gray? I know Andy Griffith did one of those. Don't think he did that one. But yeah, man, 50 years ago on CBS, 1974. Strawberry hard candies. Oh God, grew up on one of those with that strawberry center. Yeah. Hadn't seen those in a while. EVS was putting a project on Fund My Comics soon. Platform is getting ready to take off. I think so. I hope so. Hopefully that'll get some new eyes on, we'll renew the campaign and boom, maybe we'll hit a boom with the campaign. I have my copy of Skin Shifter. Oh, that's Kevin's, isn't it? Skin Shifter. Woohoo. Hal Fund My Comic and Luke Stone. Yeah. Very tantalizing tales live on Fund My Comic now. Yeah. And I think he's at 14%. Help out Vava Voom, on that. Only person that's got Bill Black in crowdfunding. He's got a Bill Black cover. That's worth the price of admission right there. And Paul will come out with the book, I'm sure. Yeah, Paul, just hit me up. Can't wait to get you on. And Mark, let's line up something. I'm curious to see how your project's going. 16 days. Let's see, that was 16 hours ago. Is it 15 days left to Christmas now? Or maybe it's still 16 days. I haven't checked the calendar, but I love Code Miser and Heat Miser. Galaxy Memorial Park, Levi and JD dropping from their Galaxy Memorial Park thing a look at Silverbug in the winged version of her armor soon after the September event, September 13th, 25th, 2001, from the World of Galaxy Memorial Park. So you get to see her. They interesting looking character. Probably all decked out in chrome. It's black and white, so can't tell you on that one. I assume it's probably chrome. Very dope Ant-Man like costume, helmet. Margaret Hamilton, like I said, was born today, not 1902. Forever remembered as the Wicked Witch in the classic film The Wizard of Oz in 1939, but also continued to act in numerous projects until she developed Alzheimer's. Passed from a heart attack in 1985 at age 82. She did Maxwell House commercials in the 70s that were big as well. Actor, director, and writer John Cassavetes. He was born today in 1929. Wrote and directed over a dozen films. He also acted in many films such as Rosemary Baby. He was the husband in Rosemary's Baby, 1968. Battling alcoholism, he passed in 1989. Cirrhosis of the liver in 1959. At age 59. Sorry about that. In 89. Also, today is Red Fox's heavenly birthday. Comedian and actor. Born in 1922, a top nightclub performer, and he had a filthy, filthy mouth for the time. I mean, quite shocking for a black actor and comedian back in the 60s. Really pushing the boundaries, but a lot of black comedians did back then, push the boundaries of what was decent, decent listening to people. Of course, nobody's forcing you there in the nightclub to stay and hear the act. He also recorded more than 50 LP records. Did you know that? But is best remembered for Fred G. Sanford on the TV Sanford and Son, which ran from 1972 to 74. He passed in 91 at age 67 from a heart attack, which he always did, right? Oh, I'm coming to join you, which is kind of ironic. Actor Broderick Crawford. Yeah, he played some bad guys back in the day. You might not know him. I can't show you a picture of him, but maybe I will tomorrow. He was born today in 1911. Often cast in tough guy and big sloppy roles, he appeared in numerous 140 plus film and TV projects, including the series Highway Patrol 1955 through 59. Prone to heavy drinking and DWIs and compulsively eating, passed in 1986 at age 74. Well, he certainly enjoyed his life. And today's also Kirk Douglas. You know, Kirk Douglas's birthday, and born in 1916. A top film star throughout the 1950s, remembered for serious dramas, appeared in over 90 films, and was known for explosive acting style. Films Champion 1949, which was a boxing, played a boxer in that. Great movie. Lust for Life, he played Van Gogh, the painter, and Spartacus 1960. He passed in 2020 at age 103. He is from Russian descent. He also wrote an autobiography, The Ragman Son. Just thought I'd throw that in there. Yesterday I mentioned it. It was on some stream. I don't know if it was EC Segar who did uh, Thimble Theater and Popeye. Popeye was in Thimble Theater as well. Yesterday was Eric Larson's birthday. Co-founder, Inkpot Award winner, co-founder of Image Comics, Savage Dragon, of course, creator, Amazing Spider-Man, Doom Patrol, Spawn, The Defenders, Nova Supreme, Aquaman, and Marvel Comics Presents artist. Also, heavenly birthday to Skippy, always belittling between shots, and the rookie from the 13th Squad creator, comic strip visionary Percy Cosby was his birthday. Also, happy belated heavenly birthday to Edgar Award winner Disney Walter Lantz studio writer, Super Mouse creator, children's mystery book author, radio comedy writer, sculptor, uh, caricaturist. Wow, he drew characters. Caricatures. Wow, caricaturist. That's hard to say. And Renaissance man Ken Platt. Also, heavenly birthday to Inkpot Award winner Bumblebee co-creator, Detective Comics, Wonder Woman, the Superman family, World's Finest Comics, The Witching Hours, Thundercats, and Transformers artist, the great Jose Delbo. Let's see. What else we have for you here? Blues legend Joe Willie, uh, Pine Top Perkins. That's Pine Top is kind of his. Playing the piano in Clarksdale, Mississippi at age 95. Wow. Let me check up with the chat here. I missed some stuff. I'm glad to see EVS coming over to fund my comic. I hope so. Book is out. I've been fulfilling for over a year now. Oh, wow. I did not know that. Most of my backers have been through Indiegogo, haven't taken it to Kickstarter yet. I do have a superhero and superheroine. Never know how you say that. Project in production and a pulp detective book that should go. That's cool. I know that Eric and Boyd has his book up on Indie Planet. And I bought it off of Indie Planet. Actually, just checked, and my pulp detective comic is up on Indie Planet. Cool. Yeah, yeah. These days, Renan, Weirdo, and Purple. Yeah, Larson got weird. Yeah. Jose Delbo did some great Wonder Woman covers. Yeah, first series. Yeah. Yeah, not cited and known, a lot, really. December 6th was uh, they concluded the sort of the anniversary of the Undiscovered Country movie, 1991 Star Trek. Uh, that was the last shot that was filmed in principal photography for Star Trek 4. Was it 4? No, I guess Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country in 1991 was the final scene on the Enterprise A bridge with Kirk and his crew. It was an emotionally charged moment, and a lot of visitors gathered around the set. Um, I can imagine. Of course, Dr. Seuss, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, uh, directed by Chuck Jones. Starring Boris Karloff, June Foray. Uh, is a classic that's to be watched every year around this time. Always love hearing Boris Karloff. For a long time, I thought that was Boris Karloff's last guy, but no, he actually did. You know, up into the early 70s. December 7th marked uh, Lay. Let me make sure I say her name right. Brackett. December been her 109th birthday. She spent the next 6 days lighting up the pulps, changing the styles of Sword and Sorcery and Sword and Planet in the process. Then she tackled everything from noir detective thrillers to Star Wars. Um, so Leigh Brackett's birthday was December 7th. Big pulp artist, and I believe worked on some early Star Wars. Um, don't see very many women artists that accomplished in comics or pulps, but she was one of them. Craven the Hunter. Are you excited about that movie? That's coming out, or not sure exactly when it hits. Let me see here. Think it don't think it says on the trailer that they put, but you can find the Craven trailer out there. David Brink says three left to draw in Perfect 10. Issue 5. Grab your exclusive Fund My Comic Al Goldman for a variant cover while you can. It is a great cover. He's got some great characters, great character development. Uh, do you have any key issues of Craven the Hunter that might go up in value if this movie's received well? It's not often a supervillain gets a movie by himself featured. I guess Venom being one of those. If he's kind of an anti-hero, anti-villain, I don't know. Kind of softened on villain uh, on him over time, rather. You today. Um, Shadowhawk says just hoping they don't uh, f it up too bad. Craven is a cool villain. Yeah, yeah. I think it could be. I what we've only got 5 likes. Of course, I haven't been watching my own show and even left a like yet. But that doesn't. I don't think that's my algorithm any. Matt Bars. Matt Bars. I'm excited about Passion of Christ Resurrection. As a that they're finally doing that. I think that might be something new and worth watching. Hands also on. Oh, and T Bunny's on too. Rabbit Hole, Monday call-in show. Phoenix Press, a lot of people streaming right now. Yeah, a few. Say a lot. All right, let me go to my own channel here. There we go. I hit my own like button. Most of you have hit the like button. I appreciate that. If you hadn't hit the like button, please hit the like button. And yeah, we're 55 subscribers now. Thank you, Omer, for that on replay. To getting monetized, which would really help. So do what you can. And whatever you do, be good at it. I'm going to get back to go over here and see Mom. Haven't seen her in a few days. Did get to talk to my sister who's had COVID. She's coming out of that. She got bit by a recluse spider on the thigh. Got over that. Antibiotics probably weakened the immune system. In her early 60s, so pray for her. She's over that. Got into some fire ants, which she has in her yard from time to time. Got up on her legs and stuff. So she got over that. Had the UTI. I know, too much information. And now COVID. So what next? But I talked to her in length today. Talked to Elsie a couple of times today. Gonna go over here and see Mom and come back and maybe fix her something else to eat and get something for myself. Shadowhawk will be on tomorrow. We'll have StreamYard time up and running. That's why I didn't schedule anything for the 9th. Don't have anything scheduled except for Texas Dave tomorrow. Maybe we'll get LZ in here if he can do Tuesday as well. Wednesday, I get a haircut. Thursday is my daughter's 10th wedding anniversary. So I'll have to make sure that I talk to her and congratulate on her for that. And Ronin Entertainment Comics will be here. Got my office party the 13th and Godfo on Saturday. And who knows what. This has been a quick one, fairly quick. But I hope an informative and a good one. Don't let the psychic eye get you. Anyway, keep collecting, and we will hit the end button and see you tomorrow, or maybe in a later stream. Bow for now.